Hello there. This is Musings of a Mystic, and I am the mystic behind the musings. And if you recognize the back of my vehicle, it's because I am doing all of these in the same day. Watching my kids outside playing. You want to hold them? Okay, fine. I got them. I love my kids. So, let's get back into... This is video number 2. We've got the introduction and what depersonalization and derealization is. Then we've got video number 1, which was about flower essences. Try not to label anything more than we already have, but nervous breakdowns. And then we talked about flower essences. We went more into what depersonalization and derealization might be. Yeah. So, here we go. Video number 2 is going to be about spiritual teachers, and since this might be a short video, I'm going to sprinkle in some other like half tips in there. So let's go ahead and hop into video number 2. Yeah, and then hopefully these tips will help you get from, like, they helped me get from being suicidal, like literally I'm gonna shoot myself in the head, to feeling more normal and having what I would consider a more normal experience, which is kind of hard for me because I'm an empath and I'm a highly sensitive person and I'm all these other wonderful things. I'm not special. I'm just more open, I guess, than some people are. But anyway, moving right along. I hope these tips help you get there, honestly. I'm having a hard time here because my kids are making noise, but hopefully you can hear me pretty good. Pretty well. So back on track here. Half a tip number 1 is to take Elaine Aron's highly sensitive person test. And you're like, what does that have to do with depersonalization and derealization? But out of this depersonalizing and derealizing came my discovery that I am a highly sensitive person, and I am also an empath. So you might also be, and the reason why I say that is because highly sensitive people are easily overwhelmed by things like noise, lights, tight clothes. You know, it's too hot in here, it's too cold in here. We can't filter out background noise very well. It's like we're the opposite of people who have ADHD, but we kind of have ADHD a little bit because we have so much stuff going on, but we're better able to focus on all of it. So, for example, I can hear my kids, I can hear the cars on the road, I'm focused on the camera, I'm looking at the paper, it's just a lot of stuff, and we have to process it all. So you can see how that can overwhelm you. And then if you're a highly sensitive person and you're at work all the time and you've got kids and family and then stress and then whatever event might have pushed you over the edge, shocked your system. Does that resonate with you at all? It did for me. But the unfortunate thing for me was that I didn't know I was a highly sensitive person and an empath until after I just had the big event happen. So it might be the same thing for you. I don't know if people who aren't highly sensitive have this depersonalization and derealization kind of thing happen to them. I'm pretty sure some of them do, but I don't know. But moving on, you might want to take her test, and if you find that you are a highly sensitive person, I encourage you to make some changes in your life so that you don't set yourself up again to have another issue where you're depersonalizing and derealizing a lot. So keep that in mind and check and see if that's you. And if that's you, please, please, please set yourself up for success and not failure. But moving on, you might also want to do a little bit of research and see if you're an empath. Empaths are people who feel the emotions of other people as their own emotions. And sometimes you'll pick up thoughts, you'll pick up traumatic experiences from other people, you'll pick up like anything emotion based, you'll pick it up. And if you're a global empath, which is somebody who feels the energy from the earth, you might also, so like if there's an earthquake coming, before the earthquake comes, you'll feel like anxious and panicky and just, and there are different kinds of empaths. We'll go into that later. So if you are one kind of empath, you're a highly sensitive person, you're a global empath, you pick up thoughts, and then you're going to work and you've got kids and you've got a family and you've got to deal with stress, and then your big event happened to you. Is there any wonder that you depersonalized or derealized? I know that's what happened to me. So keep that in mind, and if you are an empath or a highly sensitive person, stop that. Try and take care of yourself so that you can be more successful and stay healthy mentally. Stop that. Moving on to, we're moving on to the tip that's supposed to be the tipping, that's tipping tippily. So anyway, the name of this video is probably listen to spiritual teachers, and this is one thing that helped me a lot, which is why it's on video, even though it has like another tip in there, which is 2 small tips. Yeah, listen to spiritual teachers. I'm so happy and grateful that I came across Teal Swan, because she is one of the ones that has helped me personally the most. She has a really extreme background, and just a little bit about her. She came onto this earthly plane with all of her filters blown, is what she'll say. And the filters are like filtering out spirits talking and seeing spirits and feeling other people's energy, and like all those clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience, all of those. She came in having those, and long story short, she unfortunately ended up in my neighbor just came home. She ended up being ritually sexually tortured, which sucks. And then she found her way from all of that and being suicidal and thinking that at least I can kill myself tomorrow if I can't handle it. She went from that to being this person that helps other people get from suicide or depression or derealization, depersonalization to living a fulfilling and happy life. And that's what happened with her. And I suggest her. She's highly recommended. She's like number 1 on my list, and a few other ones are just help me in general in life are Valerie Love, Ralph Smart, Byron Katie. Byron Katie is another one that had a really extreme kind of background. She went from being suicidal and unhappy to living a fulfilling life and helping people move from where they are to where they want to be. And she has this, I don't know what you call it, but she calls it The Work. She's got a book called The Work, and she's got this her whole thing is based on the work. So what it is you question your beliefs until you get to a point where you can change them. And I can't explain it here. Just check it out on YouTube. All of these guys have YouTube channels that you can just look at. All other stuff is free, so you can check that out there. And I'll put those links below in the description box so that you can check those out on your own time. But moving on, Another teacher that helped me was Nazir Ra, but he is kind of radical. He's like radical, and he's Afrocentric. So don't, if you, he helped me. Yeah, just leave it out there. He helped me, but like I said, he's kind of radical, so I kind of stopped listening to him, but he might help somebody else out there. So yeah, there are a few other ones, and I'll link to them down below, and I will put their books down below too. And if you choose to use my links to buy these books, I would appreciate that. It would help me greatly, but it's not required, and I would make commission if you did use my link. So I don't promote anything that I did not use myself and that did not work for me. So I love you guys, and I hope you can trust me with that. Anyway, to recap, we talked about, what did we talk about? A lot of stuff we did. Spiritual teachers. We talked about our tip and a half here, or our tip and a, or it's 2 tips. 2 tips. So our half a tip was to see if you're a highly sensitive person, because highly sensitive people have a harder time really coping with life than people that don't have the highly sensitive brain wiring. It's not like just a mental thing. Your nervous system and your brain are wired differently than normal people. So keep that in mind. We talked about the potential that you might be an empath. And empaths are people who feel other people's emotions as if they are their own emotions. So keep that in mind too. It's a gift, and some people think it's a curse. I know I did in the beginning, but once you learn how to kind of deal with it, it can be wonderful. Set yourself up for success, please. So if you are a highly sensitive person or an empath or both, just remember that you will have to live your life a little bit differently than people who aren't empaths or highly sensitive. So keep that in mind there. And then we talked about spiritual teachers and how they can be how they helped me personally, and how they might be able to help you. I suggested Teal Swan and her book. Oh, I didn't mention her book, did I? She wrote a book called Shadows Before the Dawn, and this whole book, the entire book, is about how to get from where you are to where you want to be. So, and there's an exercise for every day of the year. So if one doesn't work, try the next one, try the next one, try the next one, and it really works. I love that book. I had it, and then I had a friend who lost his husband to he shot himself in the head, like right in front of him. So I gave him the book, and I'm still waiting to see if he actually read it. But if he didn't, I don't know. I tried to help. Anyway, Teal Swan, Shadows Before the Dawn, Ralph Smart, Valerie Love, Byron Katie, Nazir Raw, and others, and I'll put those down below in the description box. Take them with you. This is Musings from a Mystic, and I am the mystic behind the musings. You can catch me on Facebook, where I am Musings of a Mystic there. And I think that's it. Anyway. Yep. I love you guys, and I'll see you next video, okay?